Greetings, technology enthusiasts. I am Chandrahas and I am delighted to be here with you representing CyberBrainer. Do you not believe that the technology sector is advancing at an unprecedented rate, making this an opportune moment to acquire the skills that will facilitate your progress? With CyberBrainer, we are empowering you to take control of your own future. At CyberBrainer, we do not merely impart your interests. We assert that information is power, yet it is the application of knowledge that distinguishes you. Our courses are meant to equip you with essential skills, whether you are pursuing data science, understanding artificial intelligence, or delving into cybersecurity. Let us commence the session and seize the future today. Thank you.
Yes, let's do the join here because we have some similar fields over here. Steve and Morgan, we have location, country phone number, and we have country. I think it's similar, there's no meaning. Yes, it looks the second one is just longer. It has the same data, the first 3 rows, but then it says a few more. Actually, it has Logan McNeil from the California. It's almost duplicate, but it's not. Let me check for BDS. I created yesterday one org data. BDSDV org day created was someone had a, as I think deleted it and replaced by this one. I guess I'm not sure. Let me see if they have done some modification to TDS. I guess I can still able to join it. Let me search for the pipeline. Here is the BDSDV org. Let's select this one. I think we will be able to do it for this one. Someone has just changed the name, but it's still ours. Not an issue for us. First of all, I will show you the data for this. Both are fun bits. DV worker data and BIA. I will give you transformation here. We will see the transformation. And here we are seeing the transformation. Meanwhile, this opens up. I will brief you about order data. In this data set of the BDSRB OR data, in OR data, the employee and worker will be there, but the remaining data will be related to the organization. Supervisory organization, then company. Then here it is. I think company ID is their cost center. Is there all this company organization related data? Is there because company also. Fall under a type of an organization. This data set basically as it denotes it's condensed org data, and here the TV or a worker data consists of all the fields containing the we'll change the pipeline later. This contains all the work related information. Here I have employee, worker and all hired a legal name and all the work related details. Are there now what I will do is I want to enrich. This means I want to connect this. First of all, let me import this thing. I'll be worker data. We will need a base for to do the working. We'll first of all do that one thing. Your team is TV worker data and that the select this one. Here we'll delete the stage and we will use the join stage over here. In join stage also we will mention that BDS, the RTV or data, and we are here as you can see the both, the or both. The data set has one. Thing in common, employee and worker, and more precisely it is advised that to do. Something which is reliable. Reliable why? Because the worker name might have error. If there's a space or let's say someone has added a middle limb to it might be different unless we have breakdown of it into the different segments. That's just legal first name and last name. Employees will be. There are less sense of error in employee. Here I can see that the two keys are matching. One is counting market data, another is orbiter. I've seen that employee is common between them and I will do a join between them. How will we do it? Also, I have supervisory. Organization is here and I guess I also have supervisory. Let me check. Oh no, I don't have. Supervisor organization. I will do paste joint upon employee. I will click employee over here and I will click employee over here. I can also go for suggestion as a let me remove this one and go for suggestion. In suggestion it will show me all the matching field. See, it has shown that worker is a matching field which we can use for mapping. Is 97 much? Employees also match. Manager is not matching much. Based upon that, we know that we can use employee and worker. We can use it. But as I told you, it is less reliable. We will use with the employer doing now comes the joint type, joint. Types are basically different types of joint, inner joints, left, outer join and full outer chain. What is? It depends on where you want to put the data in the spreadsheet. Oh, not in a spreadsheet, but in their data set. Exactly. Do you want to do a left out of the journal out of the chain or which one? Correct. Here if I explain in a simpler terms. Let me go to the presentation. The presentation is visible. Yes, it is now. Here, this is an example of join here. Let me make it bigger. Join when is there. When I do an inner join in a zone, what it will do is it will only pick the matching rows and it will from both of them and ignore the one which are not matching to each other. It will only take the common matching rows. It will work as an inner join when I go to the full join here. Here the full join is there. In full join it will take all the rows and all the columns of both the data set completely as a whole. It is kind of similar to union. We can say similar to union, not union. Then comes a left join. Left join is, let's say we have one primary pipeline in which we are joining a secondary data set. In that comes, it will consider in that comes. When I apply left join it, that in that case all the fields of the primary pipeline will come and the matching rows of the secondary pipeline will be taken. And in the outer join, all the data of the secondary pipeline will be taken and the matching rows of the primary pipeline will be taken into consideration. Got. I will understand practically in the determinant. Here there's a difference between the count in DV worker data, the count. is 783 rows and here the count is 794. All data has a more number of data. When we do a left outer join, let me do a left outer join over here and I will select all the details because from the left row, here the join is saying primary pipeline. Primary pipeline is what a worker data that's. A primary pipeline because we created data set, we imported this pipeline, it becomes a primary pipeline and we arrange a join on the secondary one, it becomes a secondary pipeline. When it comes over here, it will again. See, what I told you, employee will, when I do a join, employee will, commas 2. With reference to this one, the Excel country 2 is coming. Why? Because the key is matching here. A country is also there, country is also there, it won't repeat it. But country 2 will come. Likewise, in our case, employee is 2 times. Here is also employee, employee and here also employee, there's no need. I can also unselect it. There's no need. We just used it when we match keys. It will select both of them, but we can unselect it. If we don't want, we will select all, but we will unselect employee and worker and resting. I think there is no duplicate in. It will not take this upper load from here as remove the upper load and I will give preview. Preview. Preview is a snapshot. It's you see what's going to happen, but it's not really happening. Really. Correct. Correct. The preview is we are not saving the changes, but we are just previewing the changes. It's a demo. You can say maybe a sandbox, but probably not. Not particularly sandbox we can say, but preview is just a demo of our working that. Can you show me how it would look? It's such a sample that this changes how it will look, but when I give done, it will reflect those changes over here. It will do the join. See, you can see that here the changes has been done. Previously, the employee is the worker. All details are there, and if I scroll on all the remaining things has been appended here. You can see if we open, let me sort ascending. Here Logan. McNeely is there and Logan Diddle had any manager details available in this one. In this way you go to work. Here this is the primary pipeline worker data. Logan don't have any column with the name of manager. Only the other details are there. But here what it does is here when I apply a join, what it does is it matches the employee with the other one and it matched the column. That's why it got up at a establish a connection with the another pipeline, another data set and got a set other manager. And supervise your organization. Any confusion? Supervisor organization. That's mean that this team member Logan McNew do not have a supervisor. Organization. Supervise your organization. She doesn't have in this particular data set. Makes sense? If I show you again, see in this data set we have around 15 fields. Out of it, 2 fields are it is upload ID and stamp by timestamp ed. In that, if we see here, this will be much easier to understand. Yes, here employed is the legal first name. All the worker related employee related data is there. No support is there. No company is there. Nothing is there. And this BDS org data is there. Let me open the org data is there. If I go to the view of it, here you can see only there is no any hire date or total waste pay or full legal data. No field are there, only org related data. Super org ID, company ID, cost center IDs are there. What I want to do is I want to map this data together. I have one data set for the worker details. And I have one data for the org data or organization related details. What I want to do is I want to merge this data together. That way I did a join, and here when I did a join and I see the fields here, you can see it has merged both the fields together. 15 14 fields from here. From org data, 11 fields are showing that 2 fields is removed, 9 fields. From org data, and here 15 does said we remove 2 fields from MUPAD, 15 or 13 plus 9. We will get the count. Sorry, 12 plus 9, we will get this one at 20 fields. Basically, the first data set did not have a supervisory or a call. When you merge it, everybody who were in there and didn't have a support, they're going to get new, because this wasn't available for the first data set. But for a joint one, everybody's there, including the people who never have value in the supervisor organization because they never have this column. It is similar to the example which I showed you, the simple version. If I showed you yesterday that this is one data set which consists of employee ID, first name and country, and there's another data set which consists of employee ID, last name, phone and country. Here you can see the two fields are common, employee ID and the country, and first name and last name. Here first name is there and here last name is there. If I join them using the employee ID, what it will do is it will match the employee ID together and bring the similar things together. Here you can see it has here mods this particular thing. Here employee ID matched this employee ID and it gave first name over here, country over here and last name here. And phone number and comparison. Exact. Similar way here in our example. That's how the supervisory org was added. The column was just added. Correct. Column wasn't there. That additional column was added as a last name and phone number, because considered this as worker data and considered this as org data, both things had something in common, which was employee. We identified the common fields and based upon the common field, we applied the join and we got the details. That exactly we did the same in here. Here we can see that when we do this, we get somewhere 70. 783 rows. Are there sample rows which are exactly the same which we had in the or in the worker data? In worker it also we have 783 calls. Why? Because we did the left join. Left join. What it will do is left join is as I mentioned you. In left join, all the fields of the primary pipeline will come and the matching of the secondary pipeline will come. Primary pipeline had 783 rows. It only will show only bad data. Now let's see what will happen if I do more of it. Let's say remove this error. Let me edit it, and here we have applied a left join. Let me do inner join. Inner join will also reflect the same number of 73 columns because it will only identify the matching details only. Let me do a join. In join, when you apply, it will process the data. It's processing. 7 and when I go to here, when I go to org data, org we have 794 fields. And here also we are getting 796. Something there might be plus or minus 1, maybe some technical issue, but when you refresh it or save it, it will show the exact ones. Basically, I will just simplify the fundamental over here. Here that let's say the worker data and here, or data. Is having 794. There is a difference between the number of rows. Here a question for you. When I do a left outer join, considering this is a primary pipeline, primary and this is secondary, can you let me know if I do a left join in this scenario? What will be the, are you able to hear me? Excuse? Are you able to hear me? Yes, I can hear you. I got some. I'm gonna do the left. Here, if I do a left join on this scenario, how many rows will come in this scenario? Can you answer me for this? I don't know how much the common field is. What I mean, no, in left join, what will happen is, if there will be common, it will come. Otherwise, this all rows will at least come, it will be 7 and 83. We can say exactly this is the minimum we're going to get plus we get something extra. Extra. There are less chances of getting extra. Why? Because we are doing a left one, left join. What you do is left. Join will get all the data from the primary pipeline and the matching one from this one. It won't get any additional. It will get additional columns but not the rows. Yes. In that case, when I do a join, it reflects me 794 because it will at least give me this rows. Got. And when I do an inner join, when I do an inner join, in that, the thing which you told will come into the picture, that in inner join, only the matching one. Let's say here, there are 783 rows and there are 74 rows. But let's say only 20 rows are matching. In both of them 20, we know only to it. In inner join 20 rows will only come. Because they are common part. Yes, that these are the only commons they identify. They are matching. Here, if you see this diagram here, it says that which coincides with each other, which are in common. Only those will come then when we do an out full. Outer join, full outer join. In this case, account might go 794 plus. Why I mentioned 794 plus? Because we don't know that how much fields are in common. If they are not in common, additional row will come. All the data will be combined together from primary and secondary. Any questions in understanding this concept, or do you want to repeat it, or how is it for you? Maybe one more thing that is related. Back to the Workday. When you show me how you're going to be choosing the columns, do you have an option to choose the, for example, let's just say employee ed, worker ed. They're gonna be the first one. Can you switch the places? For example, let's just say I want to have a legal first name as the first one, but I want to have a worker employee ed too. I just want to have the order to be different. What I mean, this is going to be the first call. This is going to be the second one. You want to sort the arrangement. Here worker, you want it later. You want legal first name here. That we can do it. Here. Let give turnover here, that can do by manage field. We can go to manage field and we can reorder it. Here I can go and I can go here, and here I can move row and I can mention that. Move. If I want to move multiple one, let me do multiple this and this last name, and Move first, not move first. As an employee. Here you can see employee is there, and here if I give done, here employee legal first name and worker came here. In join what do is? Here in join we will only be able to connect these fields and select what fields do we want to include. That's why I mentioned earlier that this unsaid rule, that when you create a DDS, you should include a managed field in the beginning and at the end of it. Because when you do the transformation, there are chances that the org data might come in the end. Super or supervisory organization data in the last will not make sense much. It should be somewhere in between. In such cases, keeping a managed field not only helps us in the changing the name of it, but also arranging the data in a proper order. That is how we do it here. Let me do the outer join again. Generally, people use left outer join in most of the cases. But still, it's as per the requirement how they want to use it. Yes, any confusion in join, or do you want a repetition? How do you want to keep it? I think I need to try to do something that myself. I just get some, join few of them and look at how the results look. I would highly recommend to do with a smaller size of the data where the number of rows are 4 or 5. 4, 5, maximum 4, 5, pick one data. Pick one data set in which only 4 or 5 rows are there and pick another data which has slightly less or slightly more number of rows, that you will be able to understand the concept in detail more. But I'm actually going to create my own data set. I'm going to create some CSV file, 2 of them 4 rows, and I'm going to try to merge them. All yes that you can do. Thus you need to keep in mind is to keep at least one row in common in both of them, that you will be able to perform a join into it. And here always when you do practice it, you need to just keep this in mind, this particular snap. What are the joins? This is the inner join, full join, left join and join. What this means is that how the join will be performed. Here we covered on the import, join union group, by now see explode, the function of explode. This is used but not much depending on still the scenarios, but still we will see. Here explore is used or explore stage to convert multi-instance field into instance field. Workday takes each instance value in multi-instance field and create a new record for each instance. We will look into it now. Let's say here we did a join and we did all these things. But now let's come to this BDS RB data, and here I will show you that here Logan McNally is there with employee 210001. And when I scroll on I can see that number of dependents are 2 for the Logan and they are multi-instance field. It's a one-to-many relationship. Now here the data, if I want to do some calculation on this, Megan and Pat. Let's say I have some benefit data and I want that I only assign some values on the spouse data. Here the relationship with Megan of Logan is Asa. Logan is mother and Megan is the daughter of Logan and Pat is the spouse of the Logan. What I want to do is I want to separate this because it's in a multi-instance field. I want to separate this in a different row and I want to assign some value to the spouse row. How you do it? I'll be able to do it with explode. Let me add a join between this stage, between this join and import stage. I'll click on this eye. We'll click explode. Explode. Here when I click on explode, it will select the field to explode. I need to select the field. Here it will automatically give me the field which are multi-instance. You can see it won't give me long list of it, but it knows that which are the multi-instance field. In whole our data set, only a dependent field is. A multi-instance field, when I click on multi, that dependence over here, it asks me that what will be the newly created field, then got refreshed. I will do it again, explode. Here, when I click on dependence, it is showing me that this field will be dropped after this stage. Basically, it will remove this column. Why? We'll keep it. It will hard that in which row this data will consist of. Here it is asking me that the name of the newly created field what you want to create. Keep it, drop in any associated report field. You can add the report field in a managed field stage and keep null value rows. Now I will do a preview. I won't click now. I just wanted to preview the changes that. How does it look here? You can see if I do it here. The previously for Logan there was only one row, but now there are two rows for the Logan for the same employee, and one row consists of a Megan and another row is for Pat. Similarly for state, Steve also. Steve is coming for 3 times. Steve, Steve. And if we see their dependents, here Josh is there, Catherine is there, and Elizabeth is there. Basically, it's creating multi-instance into a single instance. That's the simplest thing. In a simple words, I can state that one row is one dependency. Exactly. One row, one dependent. Previously, it was one row, but multiple were there. Here, what it was, only one row was there. One row was there, and in one row, only both were there combined. What we did is we created two rows for it. Let's say here 783 rows are there and will double. Then it will increase. Why? Because number of rows increase depending on the dependence they have. Some might have 2, some might have 3. Here if we see the number of rows, and this one it became is 1878. Got it? This is how the explode works. I doubt in explode. One idea comes to my mind. If you have a supervisor org and you have maybe 5 people under you, what I mean, and you might want to use that option to explode. For example, list each of these employees in the one row. Yes, in that case we can do it. Otherwise, we can map with worker data. That is also can be the double thing. Let's say we have supervisory, one data set, supervisory org data, and the other I can pull worker data and I can map it together with the supervisory organization and employee. That is also a workaround. We can do it. Yes, that's also possible. Because if we do the explore in that, there are chances that the other data might also affect in that case, still it. I mean, basically it depends on the scenario only. If the scenario supports, we can do this. That is, I will remove the stage because I will because if I do, I will be able to easily explain the other things. As I mentioned the stages which I mentioned, that the most user filter group by. Join management union. These are the most used. One then explode and unfavorite are used, but very less depending on the scenarios only. But you will casually. Means use filter group by join because there are this cases this scenario will occur more often. Then I will go to unpivot now. Any questions in explode? No, I don't think I understand why. You say it's not user too much. Yes, but still you can just note it down somewhere that it is used to convert a multi-instance field into single instance field. Nothing more than that. It basically breaks two of one multi-instance into a single instance. Because we don't know what thing comes up. At least if you're noted somewhere, it's good. Unpivot is there. Unpivot, what it does is, it converts the data from column. From rows to column or row. For that, if you see the symbol also, you can see the column data has been taken to the column. If I click on it, it will ask me for the input field. Here I can mention, I have to mention two fields. One is employee, other is gender. Name for the input field, name for the output field. You can mention as employee. Might begin. What is it? Different type. Does he mean a boolean or integer or what? I'm sorry. No, I was thinking about the error. It was saying about the different types. Basically, the gender is instance field. It is saying that to keep these in a same one, I will convert from instance to text over here for our purpose and give done. That's why we will do employee and in two different ways. Now we have previously we had employee in text format. And the gender was in the instance field. I converted into the different format. But here it seems that it will show me error. Let me fix that. Instance, I will add a field and create a tender and I will click. I have converted gender from one format to another one. Yes, I need to change the data type of it as I'll change the data type of it to shrink and I will version. String. Always let me do. I will use a case when I'm that case when gender. And to mean. Then you tell me M. Which thing is not there? We need to convert it somehow. Else it should say M was for male, for female it's gonna be F. No, actually here the issue is that it is saying that that thing will only work if the source field is text. Here, that is the issue which we are facing. Let me check another workaround if possible. Basically, we want to match the two field steps together. That is the error we are facing in the first one. Here if I go and if I go to unpivot and let me here. The employee is in the text format and the other one is in the gender is in the instance format. Let me take worker here and let me take gender here and it should work. Name of the input field. Values will be worker and gender and review the name. The error might be in the name invalid. Unique name duplicate field name is let me name is 1. 1 review this. Metal source. Select input that contains the same field type. This will have different type worker and gender. And put. Thank you. It worked previously. Let me check what is the issue. Generally it works with the MP ID and this thing, but there's some issue. I'm going to agenda 1 as an output field value. What does the error say? I think worker, I might either a number or a number or a number. Or is it? Am I wrong? I don't know. In my company, we have a worker ID name and a second name and the middle name. I'm not sure if I I thought that worker was a first and last name when I was looking to here at the other datasets, but I'm not sure anymore. Yes, generally it's the first name and last name, but still, if company sets up a functionally in that way, then it can be done. I see the presentation now. I don't see the world anymore. Yes, I'm just checking it. Have created some hang for it. No worries, look this in the next one, not an issue. It's some technical issue we are facing, but figure it out the way. The data type is not matching it. Try to match this code together, but check, no worries. Click done over here and click it delete for now. But you understand the concept here. The explore filter group by join a management union and validation is all are the new ones which are added. That still need to be checked to be tested here. That what is the thing basically? Just to give you an overview of it, I would say that validation is validation of particular data group field. Exception threshold and table exception. The main reason is that we created a rule to validate the particular thing. Let's say we are mapping something that to validate a particular value. Let's say I have different types of gender and I want to merge that into one. Let's say there are 6 types of gender. Someone, let's say they identify themselves as a bisexual, but still they want to keep what they want to keep them assigned to a particular gender, and that comes, we can create a mapping that if someone says bisexual, then male. If someone mentions up another one, it should fall in the male. Likewise, create a scenario, basically a mapping of it, and then those mapping we will try to replicate, and that we will try to replicate. Here, we will validate those mapping over here. Currently, this is newly introduced one. We can check on this and because this is a newer concept and it's still basically unstable, people are testing fields on it and exploring the ways. If I find something, I will let before the end of this training. We got this into one and the mall and the value mapping. It is from the finance one. You won't get in the HCM attend. We will also cover this. 1. You can see that here all the details are related to C building revenue category, sales item billing code. This is completely on the finance end, and if you work on the HCM end, you won't get this one. Are you into HCM or finance? I kind of support each of them, but on the very low level. I mostly uploads, for example. If you have a super seller program, some team members are getting some percentage of they earning based on how much they sell. I do the calculation. I upload the data and what they spend them out. That's what I do. I also oftentimes change the cost centers. Because my company is a few companies together, they have a separate cost centers for us, separate departments, and sometimes they changing them in the Coupa and they require the change in the word to match that. It's more a data management on my side, not as much as analytic. Got it? Not an issue. Cover this remaining stage, the unpivot one. I'll just check what the technical issue which we are facing, for which are not able to do it. We cover it up and then we can start with the calculate fields. We have a time. Do you want to cover a few of them or do you want to keep it together? All the cal fields. It's up to you. Actually, I can keep going with this. No worries. I will just introduce to you with some of the basic one is trim substring length and concate. As we see here, there are the number of call fields are too much. Let's say you go to add field. Here, when I click on Add Field, I will let an option to name the field. When I click on it, I will be able to name it. Here, by default, the field type will be text, but still, depending on the data, it will change. Then I can hide the field over here when I click. On function library, I will get all the functions which are available. Function are nothing, just a formula. This same thing is available when this is a formula bar. When same thing is running, click on this. It will expand and I will get same thing. Here I can draft my formula and here I can do this. Do some working on this side. Now let's say I want to validate. Now let's check a formula that whether the employees are correct or not. I want to change the length of it. Sometimes what happens is sometimes the phone number is there. Sometimes what happens is that someone mentions additional number. Let's say if someone's employee is a Sovereign 1, but they will enter Zarauzanu 1. That will create an additional character into it. This ideally doesn't make sense when we see the data, but when we load this kind of data into the IBs, when they send it across by integration, we have a character limit. In that, what happened is the first few character, they have that limit that they will identify that. In your organization, the first 5 fields are the first 5 characters will be the employee. Then it will automatically pick first 5 characters as an employee only. Let me show that scenario first for your understanding. When we send a file via integration, the integration file will be that at 10 months Steve Morgan. You can see there's no space. There's no delimitation together. There's no space, no delimitation. But how the system identifies is when the vendor gives us the integration details. He mentions that your organization has first 4 letters, as first 4 letters as the ID. In that it will detect it. But let's say if it becomes Azar181, it will take only first 4 letters, this one only. And others, it will take the rest thing. It's basically, you can say, fixed length. Length is fixed for every data column. For Steve, there won't be. Because the name might be different for us. What they will give is they will mention that we can allow up to 10 characters of name. If TV is there, we can keep fillers that keep a space. Team, then space will be there and then Morgan will be there. Audit. This it will work. In that case, I want to validate that. How much that is if that employee ID is within the limit or not. It has someone put the data incorrectly or not. Because when we get the data from legacy system, it works in that way. I will mention the formula. I can search the formula here. And the formula is length. I click on length and here the formula is length and the name. Let me come again length of and in square bracket. I will whenever I do a square bracket. It will show me the list of fields available. I will mention employee and I give apply. When I do this, I will get to know all the other numbers. All the employees are within the find number 5 characters. Correct. 5 characters that I can do for this one as let's say cost center. Let me check if I'm able to cost center ID. What it will do is it will count the characters. Here you can see the cost centers are also here. It is null. That's why it is giving me null. Otherwise for cost enter also it's 5. This one cost enter it is 3. I know that the standard practice of the cost enter is 5 and someone has created a test scenario and that the cost enter he has kept as 3 characters. Again, identify such issues by using this formula. Then I can use the trim function. What a trim function does is, it will get the 2 characters, first 4 characters, all that. When I go trim, what trim will do is, let's say I'm not sure what. Oh yes, you were saying something. No, I was thinking what the trim is going to do. I was expecting it's going to shorten some text or cut something. Exactly. Here, when I give trim and I get this, and let's go for the employee. If I type employee, see, it's not coming, because I need to enter in square bracket. Field name will be always in a square bracket, employee ID, and here the string suggests that trim, and here apply trim is a row function that removes leading or trailing spaces from a text values. But here, as we see, we don't have any trailing or lead spaces. Trailing all these spaces, as in what, that let's say here 1001 is there, but there's no space. Here this is there, but let's say here the space is there. Here you can see the extra. Blue is coming, this blue is extra. There's a space, it will trim those extra white spaces. Got it? This is the function of trim. Now coming to the other example, which is substring. Substring shortens the thing. Let me search for substring. When I go to substring, it will mention that substring. I need to mention a string, and I need to mention from 0 to 1 how much I do want to do it. Let's see. Let's check that I want here. A legal first name is there. And let me check if there's any middle sort ascending. If there's any middle name, all are null. Not an issue. What I want to do is I only want the last name's first character. In that case, I will create this. Sometimes happen that people don't want to disclose or send the last name. In that term, first of all, I will see here the fun. Especially they see how the function works. Functional works in this way. I can go here. I can mention substring. And substring, I will mention the field which is legal last name. And here I will mention the character. It starts from 0, start end. You apply. You have 5 first letters. It's going to be 0, 5. Yes. Let's say here, if we see that white is there, scholar white is there. ITA, it's a 5-letter thing. Let's say we do 3-letter. Here 3-letter. Let me change it here a 3 and give. Done it will substring up to 3, up to 3 letters. From 0 to 3, see white, only view it is, but then we can also do here. Let's say I don't want. First I want from the second letters. Only I can do 2, 3 as this. No issue, it will take accordingly. This thing is not necessary. It should always be 0. I can keep. I can pick from middle as give me the third letter. If we see the for white. The third letter is I for here. It is C. I just picked up with this one. This is the thing apart from it. The other thing is concatenate. We covered trim. Prim is it will remove the tree link and white spaces. It's nothing much. Substring we covered. Length we covered. Concatenate we will see. For concatenate, let me see. Open this one. Remove this. And it's concatenate over here. Concrete. Basically, what it does is combine things together. Here, let's say I have first name and last name here. I have Skylar is there, first name is there and last name is there. And I'll assume that I don't have this combined together here. The worker name is coming, but it's not. It is coming C, it's a symbol for the contact workers. I don't want that. Let me reload this, otherwise it will finish off the working in between. I will add a field. I want to concatenate it. And I don't want to see which is coming, which is symbol for the contact worker here. What I will do is I will go here. I first of all see the function. I will see the function, what the function work. I will click on this. I will see concrete, the field. And this thing, here let me type concrete and then I will mention legal first name, legal last name. I will give apply. Once I do it, it will concatenate together. But here there will be a catch. Here there is a catch. See, it did the work concatenate. But there is no space in between. Because you also didn't mention, I just told that combine this thing together. For that I will enter a space between them. Space I have to mention in the inverted comma. In inverted comma, I will do this and I will give comma and here I will mention one space. I just want one space, I can give apply when. Here you can see a one space has came up. Here in inverted comma, I can enter anything. I can enter a special character as, let me put it this way. I'll mention start over here. I have you this. It will take this special character accordingly. This is a space makes sense. The I can concrete two things together and I want any. Special characters on a space in between. I can always enter it into the inverted comma. This in this drag in this one and I'll be able to do it. This is the string type, the text. Prism, calfields are basically the common use functions which discuss. The list is very long. Discuss the common used one. You can explore the library and check. All the functions are also given. Cover the text. Cover the logical conversion and date and windows into the coming sessions. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.